I guess that if you click on this video, you had some problems with your sleep for a while and you understand how sleep is important. And yeah, I've had some struggles with sleeping for a long time. And recently I've been able to fix it and it has changed my life completely. The thing is, I was always tired, my mood was pretty unstable, I was switching moods like crazy. So today I'm gonna share with you what I learned, and this is basically I'd say bulletproof. This is gonna work for 99% of people and it's backed up by science. I'm not gonna tell you about science a lot, but I'm going to explain you some things which will make it easier for you to understand why certain behaviors will help you sleep easier and how you can do it almost every day and make sure that you fall asleep easily at night and get a proper rest. Okay, so I know some of you maybe don't have enough time to watch this whole thing, so I'm gonna tell you quickly the recap, notes, everything. You're gonna take it and do what you will with it, but for some of you that want to get the deeper understanding, you're gonna watch the whole video and I'm gonna explain all the things a little bit further. So this is what you need to know. First off, have a consistent sleeping schedule. Well, no shit, right? Everybody's trying to do that, but it's not that easy. Well, it's really important because your brain actually learns the pattern and knows exactly when you're gonna fall asleep when you keep it on a consistent basis, and you're gonna get a much deeper and much better sleep than if you just do it differently every single day. So that's the first thing. Second thing, and this is basically the most important thing, get 10 minutes of natural sunlight, not through a window, go outside, or if you have a balcony, just look at the sun, not directly, of course, you're gonna damage the retina, but you're gonna look at some of the things outside and you're gonna be looking in the direction of the sun, but not directly at it. So that's really important because it starts the clock, and approximately 15 to 16 hours after that, you're gonna get a really good need for sleep. So it's something to do with hormones, but we're not gonna discuss it. Next up, try to increase the body temperature in as close to waking up as possible. So that may be through exercise, cold showers. So whatever you do, try to do some push-ups, anything, because increasing the body temperature actually gives a signal to the brain that it is waking up time. And then you can guess later you're gonna fall asleep easier. Next up, and this is again to do with the light, but it is really great if you can do it. If you can't, not that big of a deal, but you should try to do it as many times as possible, on as many days as possible. So when the sunset approaches, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get outside, take a walk, chill with a friend, I don't know, who's really ambitious to fix their sleep too, so you're gonna help each other in a way. You're gonna take a walk, be outside, and you want to literally witness, if I can call it that. You're gonna witness the sunset, and it doesn't have to be really at the exact moment the sun is going down, but it's important to be those red, yellowish, orange colors, because that, of course, helps your brain understand that it's time to prepare for sleep. Not sleep immediately, but it's time to prepare for sleep. And after that, once the sun sets, you're gonna avoid seeing really bright lights, and that may be the biggest problem to most of you, and it was the problem with me. But if you can, lower the brightness to the minimum possible on your phone, if you're watching the television, iPad, laptop, whatever, and try to avoid bright overhead lights. That may be the worst for it, and it may completely mess up your sleep. The last thing I wanted to tell you is try to cool the room. You know how hard it is to sleep on summers, like you're waking up, sweating, and then you're even mad because you can't fall back asleep because it's so hot, and you need to use either the AC or something else, but it's tough. So try to lower the temperature before getting to sleep, and also keep it throughout the sleep, not being too cold. Obviously, you're not gonna sleep in a fridge, but it has to be a little lower than normal. So the most important sentence of this video, what you're gonna, if you take this sentence I'm about to tell you, you're gonna be extremely good for sleeping. Increased temperature plus light equals alertness, wakefulness. So those are the signals. Dark plus decreased temperatures of your body, of course, is going to result in sleepiness. That's it. Give your body as many signals as possible because it will make it to fall asleep much, much easier. So that is it. You can quit this video now, use these tips, it's gonna help you. If you want to understand it a little bit more, you're gonna listen to me right now. So I'm gonna explain it a little bit further. Let's start from the light at the beginning of the day. Actually, what wakes you up in the morning? It's the increased temperature in the body, so body temperature. And then what that does is that increases cortisol, and that's related basically to waking up. Every time you wake up, the cortisol increases. Now, you are going to want to make that cortisol spike, if I would call it that, more apparent. And how you're going to do that? Either through brighter lights, as I've said, exercise, but you're going to talk about that later. So now we're focusing on that light in the morning. Basically, when your eyes see the lights early when you wake up, and specific wavelengths of those lights early in the morning, it's going to send a signal to the brain that it's time to be awake. So you can try that. It's basically the most important thing. If you can only do one of these and you don't want to stress too much, I suggest you do just this one thing. I think it's going to change your life because it actually starts the clock, and 15 to 16 hours later, you're going to fall asleep like a baby, pretty much. Now, if you want to really make sure you're going to follow the other steps, but this is a completely no-brainer. You must be doing this every single day. So you wake up, you can brush your teeth, go to the toilet real quick, but keep it like to 5-10 minutes minimum, maximum. And then you go out. You must go out because the intensity of light throughout the window is not enough for you to get that signal. So you must go outside or a balcony. Balcony would be ideal. And if you're looking towards east where the sun is rising, oh my God, I have that. I'm pretty lucky to have that and I'm grateful for it, but not everybody has it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go outside and you're gonna get that light. And if you don't do it one day, don't worry. Biology pretty much works on averages. So the whole point is to at least 80% of the days you're gonna follow this rule. Other days you can skip, but when you can, you must get out. So with that being said, eyes are pretty much the only contact between the brain and the time of day it is. Eyes will be the only thing that can differentiate if it's morning or evening. So use it properly. Don't waste your eyes, man. Now let's talk about temperature. The thing with temperature is when it rises, it actually pushes a whole lot of systems, which I'm not going to go into details about, which is not important. It's important for you to remember that increasing the temperature meaning you're going to wake up, decreasing, falling asleep. So there's three things that comes to my mind when it comes to increasing temperature. The first one, cold showers, a few minutes exposure, because if you actually sit for longer periods of time, you're gonna decrease, of course, because of the cold exposure. But for a few minutes, if you're exposing yourself for a few minutes to cold showers, and I guess you're doing that already because I was doing that, and you may be similar to me if you're watching this. But the thing is, for a few minutes, 5 minutes, that's great because the skin is cold and actually your body is getting that cold exposure, and it's compensating with increasing the blood temperature and the body temperature, not blood temperature. What am I talking about? So body temperature is increased, that meaning you're gonna wake up. Second thing, exercise. Of course, I'm not gonna go into detail. You exercise, you increase your heart rate, the blood pumping, everything, it increases the temperature. Third thing, which you're gonna avoid, but it also can actually increase the temperature, is actually stressing out about something. It's gonna increase your cortisol, it's gonna spike up adrenaline, and it's gonna increase your body temperature. You don't wanna do this, of course, because it's really bad. But I wanted to give you an example of a bad thing that could wake you up, because that's important to know when you're trying to fall asleep. It's actually gets it much harder if you have stress and cortisol in your body, because we can't sleep with that. We can't sleep with adrenaline nor anything of that kind of sort of hormones and stuff. So let's now talk about sunset. I'm sure you now understand the light and everything I told you about the eyes. The eyes know everything. The eyes are the only organ in the body that can differentiate if it's early morning, midday, or actually it's not important, but you see the extreme points in the spectrum. The sunrise, the sunset, it can differentiate. And now you may be wondering, like, bro, sunset and sunrise look almost similar. How am I not gonna wake up when I see the sunset? Yeah, it's actually a good question, because it pretty much looks the same, right? The only thing is there are actually different wavelengths in light. We were made, it makes me believe in God every single day more and more. But look how fascinating it is. The difference between the light in the morning and in the evening is actually pretty crazy, because it looks similar, but you get a little more orange tone, and of course the different wavelengths. So your eyes can actually tell, okay, it's sunrise, it's sunset, even though it looks pretty similar, which is crazy. So you should keep that in mind. As I've said previously, go take a walk alone or with a friend, and not talk about really stimulating conversations, because you're gonna excite your brain too much. But just actually hang out, chill out, talk about something fun, I don't know, and you're gonna be a beast sleeping. You're gonna become a master of sleep. I'm telling you. So now you've taken the walk, you came back home. Now you want to avoid bright lights. And why is that? You know, it's because you actually give your body the unnecessary waking up mechanism, which you don't want to do in the evening. It's gonna push your clock a little bit further, and you're gonna fall asleep 1 to 2 hours later, which is gonna disrupt your whole sleep, and you're gonna wake up later, and it's messed up. I've done that a lot of times, and I guess you're doing that right now. So what I'm telling here is that the second most important thing after seeing the sunrise and that light, it's important to avoid bright lights in the evening, especially the overhead ones. Now, I understand it may be hard, but you want to give it your all. You wanna dim your lights, shut off and turn off the lights that are not actually important. And if you need to read, then it's best to use some kind of a red light, but you're probably gonna be best avoiding it altogether, because you don't want to engage with your brain too much. Too much cognitive work can increase cortisol and everything, and it's gonna be hard for you to fall asleep then. Now, I'm not gonna give you a pass, but I'm gonna tell you that seeing the sunset is actually gonna block and negate some of the bad effects of seeing bright light. So if you were outside and your brain registered that it was time to go sleep, to get ready for sleep, you'll be better off than somebody that was sitting inside all day and then seeing the bright lights in the evening. It's gonna mess him up really badly. If you were outside, not that big of a deal, but still you want to avoid it as much as possible. It's never a good thing. Now I'm gonna be transparent. Here I have the laptop. Oh my god, my brother is calling me. Wait. Čekaj, samo ti kažem. Čekajte. Video. On je u videu. So as I've said, I want to be transparent. I want to help you in the best possible way, and I would completely forget the things to avoid part, because there are some things you want to avoid, and it's really important. So that's why I'm taking the laptop to list it out for you. So first thing, working out late. It will delay the clock. You already understand the principles and the concepts of good sleep and the signals your brain must give your body. And what happens when you work out? You increase the body temperature. And what does increasing the body temperature do? Of course, waking up. Not completely. You're not gonna be oh, it's morning and it'd be like 9 p.m. workout. It isn't actually like that, but it's gonna push it like 1-2 hours away, and it's bad. You're gonna mess this up. So actually, it's much smarter to work as close to waking up as possible, because that way you're not gonna only disrupt your sleep, but you're gonna improve it by giving your body the signal of waking up early in the morning, and then you're gonna fall back asleep easier at night. The second thing, drinking coffee 10 hours before bed. And I could talk about coffee for a longer period of time, and I'm gonna explain to you why coffee is actually bad for sleep and everything. You're gonna understand it now completely. So 10 hours before sleep. Why 10 hours? 10 hours is basically the average amount of time the coffee gets to get out of your system. So even though it may not disrupt your sleep, like even after 5 hours, it's not gonna disrupt your sleep in a way that you're gonna fall asleep, but your sleep is not gonna be deep enough. it still stays in your system, and it makes it really hard because of some adrenaline and some cortisol it produces in the body. Not actually produces, but encourages your body to produce. So you're gonna avoid that. And how coffee works actually. You know, when you're like tired and everybody says, oh, drink a coffee, drink a Red Bull, anything that has caffeine. How does it work? Well, you see, as your brain is going throughout the day, it's actually producing a byproduct, if I could call it that, and it's called adenosine. When you move, when you run, when you decide I'm gonna eat that, when you work, whatever your brain is working at, basically 100% of the time. Somebody has lower, but somebody's turned out, okay, it's not important. Why am I doing this? Why did I want to make a joke? The thing is, okay, coffee, adenosine. It gets built up throughout the day, and it's basically a signal to sleep. So imagine like stacking. I have 1 plank. After 1 hour, 2 planks, 3 planks. The longer you go throughout the day, the more planks you have, the more tired you feel. So it actually builds up to a decent amount where at 10 p.m. you're like, oh my God, I need to go to sleep. You're gonna want to fall asleep. I know it may sound unbelievable, and it actually takes less than a week, 2-3 days. Just keep consistent with this. You're gonna fall asleep like a baby. That's basically the point. So it gets built up and you're gonna feel so tired. And what does coffee do? Caffeine actually binds to the receptors for adenosine. So adenosine is pretty useless. It's running in your system, but you cannot feel the effects of it. And that's because caffeine blocks it and doesn't do anything. It just inhibits the connection between adenosine and its receptors. And yeah, that's how it works. And the caffeine crash, it makes sense, right? It just gets off the parking spot. Adenosine, which was producing, so it was being produced throughout the caffeine effects or whatever you call it. It was being produced. So at a much bigger concentration, it's gonna bind to the receptors, and you're gonna feel almost immediately tired. Once it wears off, once caffeine wears off, it's actually still in your system, but it's gonna bind up the receptors. The thing is, yep, adenosine is gonna fly like a maniac to those receptors, and you're gonna feel literally tired. And you're gonna drink another coffee. You see how bad it is. It's just a never-ending cycle. You're gonna be tired throughout the whole day, and you're gonna live between one coffee to another. So it's not like a sustainable way. So what you're gonna, if your bedtime is at 10, you don't want to drink coffee past 12 p.m. That's how it is. If you want the full quality of your deep sleep and to fall asleep easier, you cannot touch the coffee after 12 p.m. If 10 p.m. is of course your bedtime, but it should be 10, 10:30. It shouldn't be after that. Next up, eating close to bedtime. You don't want your body to push the resources towards digesting. You want it to be ready, peaceful, in a state of homeostasis, and you want it to relax right before sleep. If you eat, blood is gonna go to your stomach. You may feel sleepy after like eating a huge meal. You've most likely experienced it throughout your lifetime, and yeah, you may actually fall asleep, but the quality is not gonna be much good again, like with caffeine. So you want to avoid that. One tip I could give you about that is actually, and it may not work for everybody, of course, you have to have some discipline, but what's gonna help you a little bit and push you like to say, okay, no, I'm not gonna eat. You can brush your teeth after the last meal. So your last meal should be about 6 to 8 p.m. I like to eat to 6 and then before 6, and then after 6, I'm done. I don't eat anything, I don't snack, I don't raise my insulin after that. And yeah, if you can't eat, and if you like to eat a little bit later, okay, do it before 8, but don't do it much after 8 because you're gonna disrupt your sleep seriously. And so what? You eat at 7, let's say, you go to your toilet, you brush your teeth, and what? You're actually gonna feel like a little bit of, like you're gonna be like, oh my god, I already brushed my teeth, I won't eat like a banana or something. You're not gonna eat a huge meal after the last meal, but you're gonna snack something, it's gonna run your digestion and everything. You don't wanna do that. So actually you can brush your teeth, go outside for a walk, which I mentioned before, and you're good. You don't need anything outside. You can buy something, but you won't. Let's be real, you won't be doing anything. So that's a pretty stupid tip, if I could say, but it works for me. It may work for you, it may not, but try to be as disciplined as possible and don't eat before or after 8 p.m. So what do we have here else? Seeing really bright lights. I have explained it to you. We have actually, I'm gonna get into more detail a little bit. We have like specific receptors on the bottom half of our retina, which absorbs the light. And what does that mean? It means that it actually looks upwards. So the sun is, the sun is up throughout most of the day. So you have these receptors, and they're actually designed to keep you awake for as long as the sun is up. And when you see a bright light above your head, what does your body think? Oh my God, yes, that's the artificial light I'm holding in my bedroom. Of course not. It's the sun. It thinks it's the sun. So let's avoid that shit. And don't do hard cognitive work. Don't study. Whatever makes you like think and everything. If you're reading a book and you really like think about, oh my God, who could be the killer in this fiction? Oh my God, you're gonna wake up. You cannot be excited. If you watch a movie, it should be something brain dead. You're literally like sitting there, sitting like a dead man, like a dead horse, and just watching it, like, I guess so you don't stare at a wall, but it shouldn't be that stimulating. And you don't want to play chess. I made that mistake. If you like to play chess, I was really addicted. I started to be addicted to chess now. I'm like cutting it out a little bit. But the point was, chess is a lot of thinking, and you can guess like how it correlates to the good night's sleep. So we're gonna avoid that. Let's go to napping. Is napping good? Is napping bad? Well, it depends. It always depends in science. They always say like, it depends. They never say specifically. But I'm gonna tell you, for most of you, napping is not gonna harm you unless it's longer than 90 minutes. And you would better keep it at 20 to 30 minutes. 20 to 30. Because you have 4 stages of sleep. And they're all cycling in those 90-minute intervals. The last one is REM sleep, which is basically the part where you dream and everything. And it's, if you cut somebody out in that part, or in deep sleep, the part which goes before it, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be even more tired than if you didn't take a nap. So you must cut yourself out or wait for a complete full cycle. So either 20 minutes to 30 or 90 minutes. You don't want to do it in an hour. An hour is the worst thing you could do. So that's what you're gonna do. If you need to nap, great. If you can drag throughout the whole day and then sleep, it would be the best to sleep just in the evening. I mean, your block of sleeping which you have every day. But if you need to nap, if you're like really tired, yeah, do it for 30 minutes. You're gonna feel a little bit energized. Or you could try NSDR. That's a non-sleep deep rest. You have some protocols. You can search it up on YouTube. It's basically like 10-minute, 30-minute sessions where you lay down basically as if you're gonna fall asleep, but not fall asleep. And it actually rejuvenates you pretty good. Like for 10 minutes, you could get like imagine if you like nap for 30 minutes. It's actually crazy how it works. You feel like a little bit more energized after it. So you could try NSDR. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm talking about specific naps. So you can nap, and you actually want to cut it out 6 to 7 hours before actual bedtime. Because what happens in sleep? The adenosine I was talking about earlier, like the hormone, or I'm not sure if it's actually a hormone. It's not a hormone. It's actually like some chemical. Is it how it's said? Okay, it's a chemical, and it stacks throughout the day. So what does sleep do to adenosine? It actually clears it out. So after 8 hours of sleeping, it clears out all the adenosine. So you're pretty much awake in the morning. And then it gets stacked again. So what happens with a nap? It clears some of the adenosine, but not everything. So if you sleep for too long, for like 3 hours nap, oh, you're gonna disrupt your sleep. You're gonna disrupt your sleep most certainly. And even if it's a short nap, if you do it like at 6, 7 p.m., it's dangerous. I wouldn't play with that. Because you could actually wake up at 2 p.m. and what then? You're well arrested at 2 p.m. Not 2 p.m., 2 a.m. Imagine that. That's a pain. That's really a pain. So Try to avoid that. Try to not clear too much adenosine. Keep it short, not too close to bedtime, and that's it when it comes to napping. So let's talk about some additional tips. This is the last portion of the video. Everything I've said previously, that's the most important thing. I'm talking about some additional tips here. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, and it may actually happen to you every night. It happened to me like one, maybe even 2 times, 3 a.m., 6 a.m., and then I wake up at 8, let's say. It's actually scares people, but it's not actually that bad, because you actually wake up unconsciously, I don't remember it, every 90 minutes throughout the night. Basically, after every cycle, you wake up, because in REM sleep, you're actually paralyzed, and after it passes, you're gonna actually want to move your body a little bit, and then that's completely natural. Some of it, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna go to the toilet, you're gonna be actually conscious and you're gonna remember it in the morning, but most of the times you're not gonna remember, like 80% of the times. So if you wake up one time and actually conscious, go to the toilet, no problem, get back to sleep. The only thing that will make it a problem is if you can't fall asleep after it for like 20 minutes straight, 20 plus minutes. Actually, it may then indicate that you have some other problem that you might fix of all these things we've talked about. But usually, if your sleep is good, if you get back to 20 minutes, it's okay. It's fine. You don't need to stress about it. I used to stress about it, so that's why I'm telling you this. Now, we talked about increasing the temperature, but we haven't talked about decreasing the temperature. You can actually take a warm bath, a warm shower, 20 minutes, and what's gonna do it to you is gonna give you that hot stimuli and stimulus, whatever, to your skin and body, and it's gonna decrease the body temperature, the core body temperature, which is gonna make it fall you asleep, because that's how it works. Higher temperature, waking up, lower temperature, time to sleep. Our body interprets that way. Don't ask me why. It's actually how it's working, so use it as you will. Alcohol and THC. You may think that you sleep better because of it. I was like not addicted to THC, but it may be called actually like that, because you kind of like when you use it like 7 days straight, it's great to use it at night, and you fall asleep easier. But it's actually more close to like losing conscious. You know, when somebody knocks you out and then you lose conscious. I mean, I hope that hasn't happened to you, especially not on the street. But you know, it's actually not that good of a sleep. It's actually not that deep. You don't get as much benefits. It's pretty shallow, if I would say. So you're gonna avoid that. It may actually help you fall asleep, but it's like you're knocked out. It's not gonna you're not gonna get as much benefits as falling asleep naturally. Oh my god, my throat is so sore. I haven't drank water throughout this whole video, and I haven't talked this much since I don't know when. And the last thing about the alcohol and THC, you'll actually see that you kind of build a dependency on it after a while, and after like just a week. It doesn't have to be any longer than that. You're basically gonna be like, oh my god, I need to take it, I can't fall asleep without it, and that's a problem then. Imagine building a dependency on anything that's out of your reach and out of your control, because you may be somewhere else where you can't drink or can't have THC or can't smoke marijuana, I don't know. But yeah, you don't want to build dependency on anything, on sugar, on... Why is it turning into a diet with you? I don't know, but you get the point. Now, also supplements, melatonin supplements, avoid that at all costs. They're not stable at all. They say 5 milligrams. Do you know how many milligrams your body produces naturally? 0.1 to 0.3 milligrams. And milligrams, maybe if you're from the US, you won't know what milligrams are, or maybe you do. But the thing is, those supplements are 5 milligrams. Look at the dosage there. It's 50-fold. It's 50 times more. And actually, what I found out is that the amount they show on the box is actually not the amount. Am I recording? Okay, imagine if I was talking like the dosage in supplements is actually not that stable. They've been shown that those pills that you take from melatonin, they actually have from 85% less melatonin than it says on the box, to 500 plus more than it says on the box. So it's actually a lot. Don't play with that. And the worst part is it doesn't actually get you to deep sleep. It just actually gets you to fall asleep. If you're like nervous anxious, having like too much cortisol in your body, it's not gonna help you stay asleep. You're gonna actually wake up 5 times. So it doesn't do you any good, and it's actually gonna disrupt your like natural release of melatonin, and you're gonna build dependency on it, and you're gonna have to use it every day, and it's not good. Avoid that. If you had a bad night of sleep, don't do anything. No coffee, no extra caffeine. No, I mean, if you must nap, but don't wake up any later than normal. So 8 a.m. is your waking up time. Wake up at 8 a.m. It's so important to keep that, to keep the same level of sun, the sun to be at the same level when you wake up every time. It's really important. I can't stress enough the importance of it. But I guess you're taking it seriously now. If you watched the video till now, you're taking your sleep seriously, man. Congratulations to you. But you wanna keep it consistent. So if you need to nap, but don't do anything extra crazy or something. Don't be too stressed. One night is not gonna kill you. So if you 6 nights sleep well, 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, who cares? It's important to get back on the track and don't mess up your whole routine and everything. Last tip, remove any clock heads in the room where you're sleeping. Imagine like you understand the importance of sleep. You watch this video, you really want to improve your sleep, and you try to fall asleep and you can't the first night, and you have that clock and it's clicking, and you're actually becoming anxious and it's getting harder and harder to fall asleep. You take a look at the clock, oh my god, it's 2 a.m. and I've been in bed for 2 hours and I haven't fallen asleep. I know that feeling and it's pretty bad, but that's why I actually want to turn the clock. I'm joking. Actually, don't have the clock in the room where you're sleeping. That would be the best way to counteract it. You don't really want to stress too much, because if you're already stressed because of not being able to fall asleep, and then you're actually looking at the clock and seeing that you can't fall asleep, don't do it. Don't look at the damn clock. That's it. Whole tutorial. It's funny that it's coming from a random guy like me, but I've been researching sleep for a while because I understand how important it is. It regenerates the body, keeps your hormones in check, regenerates the tissues in your body. So if you're building muscle, if you're into that, you're gonna build more muscle, let's say less stress, you're gonna feel better. You may see the IB zoning out, but that's actually because I haven't been used to talking in front of the cameras. I'm really grateful for Dr. Andrew Huberman, his podcasts. I watched some other people too, of course, but the most and where I started was Andrew Huberman. So you can check him out if you really want to get the scientific, deeply explained everything. But I think I've explained to you enough. Melatonin, adenosine, those hormones, everything in your body is working like a one body, let's say. I mean, it actually is a body. What am I talking about? So, consume this information. Don't go past this. Like, rewatch this video if you want to again. And I hope you've been writing some notes. Because there's too much of this stuff here, and this is literally the only thing. You don't need anything else. If you're in the 99%. 1% of people may have some sleeping disabilities in some type of way, something else, I don't know. I can help you with that. But for most people, this is gonna work like crazy. Like 2-3 days. Imagine like fixing your sleep completely. People say, oh my god, I want to wake up at 8 a.m. so I'm gonna set my alarm clock at 10 and then I'm gonna push it slower 10 minutes before and before. Shut the hell up, man. It doesn't work like that. You need to force yourself and then have all of these biological cues that are gonna let your body actually know it's time to sleep, and you're gonna fall asleep. It's not that complicated. You're not gonna overthink. It actually helps with overthinking. That's it.